John and I are both Mets fans, and we got really bad news.
Horrible.
Just a few minutes ago. It's about Zack Wheeler, who has to undergo Tommy John surgery. This is a common thing for many pitchers in baseball all of a sudden. I guess what I wanted to talk to you about was I don't understand why really all the good pitchers, it seems like, anybody who's anybody has to undergo this surgery nowadays. Earlier this preseason, Yu Darvish is out. He's going to have Tommy John.
Josh Edgin.
Good pitchers. We'll stick with the good pitchers.
He was good last year out of the bullpen.
No, he was. And he's a lefty. We need him. Matt Harvey last year. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Fernandez, the Steven Strasburg before that.
Ivan Nova. Was Nova
again
Tommy?
Good pictures?
Oh,
okay,
right.
The list continues to grow, and it definitely seems to be an alarming trend in Major League Baseball. And I know we're sitting here trying to figure out why this is.
So I guess there are two thoughts that pop into my mind. First of all, is that from what I hear, kids nowadays, they're on these travel teams, they're playing 100 games this summer, and they're pitching year-round. So they're wearing out the ligament in the elbow. The other option, pitchers nowadays, if they throw 97, they try, and Harvey talks about this all the time, Matt Harvey, they want to throw 97 every pitch.
Yeah.
Where if you look back, I mean, our generation, the Braves pitchers were dominated the Mets forever. The Smoltzes, the Maddocks, and Glavine were guys who painted and could get it up there low to mid-90s occasionally, which threw off the timing of the hitter. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think some of that makes sense. Those guys were definitely pitchers and not the flamethrowers who were just trying to rear back every pitch. Like you said, those guys tried to, every once in a while they had a little something extra in the tank. They could, a fastball sat somewhere between 91, 93 miles an hour. Every once in a while, if they needed that extra oomph, they could, dial it up to 95, 96. But those guys are classic pitchers, and definitely it just seems like after that generation, we're getting more and more of the flamethrowers, guys just trying to blow smoke past every hitter. And to a certain extent, that's fine. But you can go all the way back to when they made the changes to the mound. All of a sudden, there was a little bit of a spike. Way back in after Bob Gibson's dominant year in '68, they made adjustments to the mound, changing of the arm angles. I used to see it a lot as somebody that used to work in baseball and in youth baseball. These travel teams, that most of these places would have rules in place as far as limiting the number of innings pitched, but there were ways to get around that. Guys would basically throw pitchers, kids, less 12-year-old kids, until their arm would basically fall off. And it's not just fastballs too. You got 10-year-old kids throwing curveballs, adding extra stress to their ligaments when their arm isn't even fully developed yet. Yeah. I think a whole combination of everything all together is just really where the arm injuries happen.
I don't know how Major League Baseball addresses it. Like we see in football when there's a high number of quarterbacks get hurt, they change the rules and they say you can't hit them so hard,
sure.
You can't hit them here, you can't hit them there.
Yep.
In baseball, should the league put in a pitch count? I don't think that's the way to go.
I don't think a pitch count's the way to go, but I think it has to go back to monitoring, kids when they're kids. They have to do a better job at the youth level of putting rules in place, at the little league level, through high school.
And my other thought was the third option, possibly, and we see this quite a bit, is the fact that in the 70s, 80s, a guy threw out his arm, could have had Tommy John, but instead he just retired, we didn't know about. I guess maybe that's an option.
Yeah, I was going to say, and definitely the advanced technology in diagnosing injuries has obviously improved to the point where, in Zack Wheeler's case, he had some elbow soreness last year. He was able to pitch through it. He had the elbow soreness prop back up again a few days ago. And it was kind of funny because the Mets took the approach, we're not really worried about it.
No, and that's what I was going to say, bringing this back to the Mets.
Yeah.
He's had 2 MRIs before this one, and Terry Collins was kind of like, we didn't see anything. There was no inflammation. He's going to be fine. Should teams look at 6-man rotations? Should we go to 140 games, which would only save you 5 starts a year, but it'd keep you closer to 200 innings? I don't know. Give us your feedback at the bottom of the page. We could kick this around all day.
Yeah, definitely.
But we want to know what you think. Comment on the comment section below or on our website, WIBX950.com.